There's no need to spend hundreds of dollars at Japanese steakhouses when you can make hibachi steak at home even better than the restaurants for a fraction of the cost. In this video, we'll go over some of the most common mistakes I see with almost every recipe online, and then I'll give you some tips to make your hibachi steak at home even better than any teppanyaki restaurant you've ever been to. So let's do this. Before we hop into the recipe, I want to go over the most common mistake almost everyone makes when preparing hibachi steak at home. Once again, just like with our hibachi chicken, nearly every recipe online instructs you to cut up the steak before cooking. And while smaller pieces of meat do cook faster because you're increasing the surface area, the protein tends to release a lot more liquid and ends up boiling in its own juices instead of getting a nice sear. Unless you're using a wok and stir frying with a really high heat, it's almost impossible to get a good sear on meat that has been cut into small pieces. So to remedy this, we're going to keep our steaks whole when we sear them and only cut them up after they've been cooked, exactly like they do at teppanyaki restaurants. Now, when you order a hibachi steak, you're almost always getting choice grade strip steak. Also known as New York strip, it's a steak cut from the short loin subprimal of the cow. Typically, the restaurants will hand cut the steaks on the premises, and the serving size is usually around 6 to 8 ounces or 170 to 225 grams per steak. I've found that by asking my butcher to cut steaks that are 3/4 of an inch or roughly 2 centimeters thick, you almost always get the perfect size. As you can see, my steak is 9 ounces or just slightly over the normal serving size. Now, hibachi steak is customarily served with sauteed mushrooms, just normal everyday white button mushrooms, nothing special. You'll want to slice up 2 per steak. Start by cutting each mushroom into 6 to 8 pieces. And because we'll be sauteing these first, you'll want fairly thick slices, like this. Then heat up some oil in a nonstick pan over medium-high heat. They use safflower oil at most restaurants, but any neutral oil works. After the oil is hot, toss in your mushrooms and a bit of salt and cook until they're done to your liking. You'll just want to make sure all the water has cooked out of them before you're done. Then set the mushrooms aside in a container until you're ready to use. For the steak, heat up some oil in a pan over medium-high heat. After the oil is hot, season your steak with kosher salt on both sides. And if you have a fat cap, hold it down in the hot oil for about 1 to 2 minutes so the fat gets crispy. If you like fat, this will ensure that it's not inedibly chewy. At most teppanyaki restaurants, they'll cut off the fat before serving, so crisping it will also make it easier to slice off at the end, if you prefer that. After you've crisped the fat, set the steak down in the pan and cook anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how well done you want it. After you've got a nice sear on one side, flip the steak over and get a nice sear on the other side, another 2 to 5 minutes. My advice would be to slightly undercook the steak because we'll be cutting it into bite-sized pieces later and you can finish your cooking then. Now remove the pan from the heat and set the steak on a grated baking sheet to rest for 5 to 10 minutes. This will allow the juices in the meat to redistribute better than just cutting it while it's on the heat, like they do at the restaurants. After the meat has rested, remove the fat if you want. They will typically slice it off before serving at most teppanyaki restaurants, just FYI, and then cut your steak into long slices and make cuts perpendicular to those slices. Cutting the meat in this manner will give you the exact type of cut you'll get at most Japanese steakhouses. By waiting to slice the steak until after it is seared instead of when it's raw, you not only improve the flavor and ensure the meat is juicier, but you're also able to more easily make precise cuts, just like you get at the restaurant. After you've dealt with the steak, wipe out your pan and return it to medium heat. When the pan is hot, add the steak, and if the steak is slightly undercooked, cook it to your liking, and approximately 1 minute before it's done, add the cooked mushrooms and 1 tablespoon of garlic butter. If you'd like to learn how to make hibachi garlic butter, I'll link to the video at the end. Stir until all the butter has melted and coated the steak in mushrooms. Then kill the heat and adjust the seasoning with kosher salt and cracked black pepper. Now the dish is ready to be served. By crisping the fat cap and allowing the meat to rest after the initial cooking, it should give you a juicier and more consistent steak than you can get at almost any teppanyaki restaurant, all while paying considerably less than retail. If you'd like to learn how to make the hibachi butter we used earlier, check out this video. And if you'd like to learn some other recipes they use at teppanyaki restaurants, check out this playlist. Thanks for watching. See you next time.